Hi, I'm Michael Shermer, the publisher of Skeptic Magazine. Over the years of investigating different claims for the magazine, I've written several books that I thought I'd tell you about. They basically have as their general theme belief systems and the power of belief. And the first one is called Why People Believe Weird Things, and it's about, well, weird things. Weird things like ghosts and haunted houses, aliens and UFOs, conspiracy theories and cults and, well, just the power of belief that runs through all of those. And when I was touring for Why People Believe Weird Things, people would often ask, well, if you're skeptical of ghosts and haunted houses, what's your position on the afterlife? And I'd say something like, well, I'm for it. Of course, the fact that I'm for the afterlife doesn't mean there is an afterlife. And that's a central theme here, that I think what we want to be true and what's actually true may not always be the same. And that led to my second book, which is called How We Believe. And How We Believe is about the afterlife and religion, God, spirituality, and the power of myths, and the relationship of science and religion. And so, of course, people would ask me when I was touring for How We Believe, well, if you're skeptical of the afterlife and you don't believe in God, then what's the basis of morality? Why be good without God? And that led to my third book, which is called The Science of Good and Evil. And it's about good and evil. That is, I think we are inherently moral and immoral. That is, I think we evolved moral emotions. That is, we are a social primate species. There has to be some means for individuals within a group to get along with one another, to be pro-social, cooperative, altruistic. Unfortunately, we also evolved this tendency to be xenophobic and tribal. That is, we're not very pro-social with strangers in other groups. And so at the end of that book, I talked about the importance of trade. That is, free trade between strangers, between groups, is a way of reducing potential intergroup conflict. And that led to my fourth book, that is the fourth volume of my trilogy, as it were, which is called The Mind of the Market. And The Mind of the Market is about the importance of trade. It's about evolutionary economics, behavioral economics, neuroeconomics. It's about the importance of strangers between groups having some form of interaction. And I use a lot of game theory and behavioral game theory to show that, in fact, people are not very rational when it comes to money, when it comes to investing, that we're largely driven by these deeply evolved emotions as social primates. So that's the 4 volumes of my trilogy. I did write another book in there simply because I had to. It was called Why Darwin Matters, and it's about science and religion in general, but more specifically, it's about evolution and intelligent design creationism. So I start off debunking all the claims of the intelligent design creationists, showing that they have no science, but also trying to show that, in fact, there doesn't need to be a conflict between science and religion. It depends on what your particular position is. If you insist that the Earth is, say, under 10,000 years old, yes, of course, there's a conflict there. But what I want to argue is that Darwin matters because evolution matters. Evolution is our story, the story of where we came from and where we're going and who we are. So evolution matters in that sense because science matters. Science is our myth, our story. It is the preeminent way that we have of knowing how the world works, and that's why Darwin matters.